What's up guys, I'm going to show you back in the video. Today's video is what if James and Miriam chose the teams. So this idea was by Morgan Winger. Thank you for your suggestion. I hope I said your name right. So here's the cast. I'll be trying to use the universal logic the best I can and determining what I think the team, who would be on what team and why I think they would pick them. So first of all, Aiden makes sense. They're dating. They're a couple. They're not see each other. Miriam would pick Jake because she sees him like a son. James would pick Lake, and I think Miriam would end up picking. I think she would pick Ashley. So basically, I'm doing boy girl. Like action. James picks Hunter because in season 2, him and Hunter got their season 2 characters. Miriam, I think she picks Connor. Then for James would pick Ali because season 2 again, Hunter and Ali and James. Then I think for Magenta, I think Miriam she would pick Gabby because even though they're not best terms, I think at this point she would see Gabby as a good player. I think James picks Tom because he would see Tom very good at challenges, and I think Miriam would rather pick Alec because Alec's really smart and would be really good for challenge stakes. Similar reasons to what James said. For the Cyan team, I think James picks Ellie because he doesn't want to pick Rhea, and he knows Fury is going to be a massive threat. And I think for Miriam, she would pick Tess out of these people because she doesn't like the other three. Gret, Fiore, Rhea. I think James would pick Gret at this point because obviously he doesn't like Rhea. So there's nothing else to really be said here. So Yule, Fiore, and Rhea. I think this is where she picks Yule. James would pick Fiore, and I think Rhea's just left as the last pick. So they're the teams for this season. So they're the teams. Sorry if it's not accurate, but I think this is the teams that they would pick. And there's only 2 teams because this is what you suggested. So this was going to change a lot of things then. So the second episode, this is Magenta team. Jake would still get distracted because Aiden and Tom follow each other, but James would be aware that they're just friends, and obviously he knows that Ellie tried to sabotage Aiden to mess with Jake, so I think that would annoy James. And I think the thing is, I think the Magenta team would still lose because I think there's nobody on the Cyan team that would lose. Like, James was alright in the original, and Tom was really good. Like, even with Fiore on this team, I think they would be able to win. And I think because there's no Jake and James argument, a villain's in trouble. And I think the person that would be in trouble would be Rhea. As even though Miriam doesn't like Alec, I think she would be aware that Rhea would be a bigger threat because she got a lot further than last season. Yule's just very annoying, but I think they would rather get rid of Rhea because Connor likes Rhea. And she's messing with his head, so I think they would get rid of her. Episode 3. Alright. So, the diving challenge. This is where Lake Norway gets out. Well, I don't think that would happen here. And let me explain why. In the original. Because in the original, what happened was Alec tricked the cyan team. So, anyway, that one happened this time. I'll explain why. Now, Alec originally helped Fury because she was on the bottom of her team to trick the cyan team. But James would have an alliance, Aiden and Tom would be friends, and Lake wouldn't vote for Tom in this version because the Girls' Alliance would not exist. And I think what would happen, Fury, the villains, they work together. So the cyan or magenta team, who loses the challenge? I'm going to say cyan lose it. Like they do with the original. But Fury, instead of throwing the challenge, I'll say Fury sabotages her own team to make sure. Because she knows Yule and the Alec is definitely on the bottom of his team. So I think the opposite would happen. I think Fury would throw the challenge to save Alec. And I think here the 4-person alliance are going to target. So Ellie makes the Girls' Alliance because the girls have majority. Now they originally want to vote for Tom, but she wants to get rid of Aiden. And here's the thing though, for challenges, but they have Hunter. In this timeline, they have Hunter. But I still don't think Lake would vote for Aiden. And I think the votes would actually flip on Lake. So I do think Lake would get eliminated. Like normal. Episode 4. The cliff jumping challenge. So obviously this is usually when Miriam gets out. Because Alec throws the challenge. Oh, the Villains Alliance. So Alec makes the Villains Alliance at this point. And obviously Ellie, Gret, Fury, Alec, and Yule are in the Alliance. So there's just no Gret. Okay. I'm thinking they also would bring Gabby instead. So Gabby replaces Rhea then. So Alec throws the challenge to get rid of Miriam. Actually, I'm thinking he might not throw the challenge because he's friends with Connor, so he has majority. But that only calls it tiebreaker. And there's a chance they're going to lose that tiebreaker. So I think Alec wouldn't throw the challenge. So I do think that the cyan team are going to lose the challenge. I think just because of the fact Fury wouldn't be that good here, she wasn't in the original. And I think Alec would do a lot better because he wouldn't be throwing the challenge for the entire time. And I think the cyan team will lose. And I think this is where Ellie gets, the villains go to these three and say, there are two couples. Tom's not on the vote for Aiden. And this is where Ellie decides to go for Hunter and Allie. Now, the reason she goes for Hunter and Allie is they're a duo, so they'd be a lesser threat than these three. And I think she does actually vote for Aiden. So her plan does work in this episode, and they do get rid of Aiden. Episode 5. Alright. So the pinballs and the attackers then. Ellie wouldn't distract Jake this time to make him lose. So that's important. And then Fury would do bad at this challenge, so because of Fury, they lose. And I think they do manage to convince Tom and James into voting for Hunter because he's a bigger threat. I think they would convince, but I think Tom and Hunter would be friends, and I think they could probably get James instead. I think Hunter does get eliminated like the original, because I think James would realise that Hunter would be and Ali would be a massive threatening duo. Episode 6. So basically Rhea originally overdid it on the lights, but she's not here. And I think Cyan would win because of Piggyback. But James and Tom wouldn't kiss. I think James would just refuse. Lee would be alright, so I think basically the Gents team would win the challenge. And they'll lose the challenge, they're going elimination. So Alec, Yule, Gabby and Connor decide that they need to vote for Miriam. Miriam, Jake, Ashley and Tess, though, decide to vote for Yule. So in a tiebreaker between Yule and Miriam, I don't know, Miriam's actually pretty athletic. I'm going to say Yule could probably beat Miriam in that tiebreaker. Episode 7. This is Ballbuster. Okay, team will lose again. Actually, let's talk about this one. So, Rhea was the reason Fury had lost in the original. So whoever was running would Alec or Yule. I think Alec would throw the challenge. I don't think Yule would throw the challenge. But I think it's very skeptical of me to assume that one of these two would be running, because there's like it's 7 in 1 chance that Alec is going to be running to the end of the challenge. So I think what would happen is Alec does throw the challenge to help Fury, because she knows that the villains will definitely cause a tiebreaker. Now keep in mind, they still find out of the villains alliance at this point. And because of Connor, right? So Jake, Ashley and Tess want to vote for Alec, but Connor's friends with Alec. So he goes to the heroes and says, I will vote for Yule. At this point, he says, I'm going to vote for Yule instead. Vote you with me, or I'll just vote one of you off anyways. And I think Jake and Ashley would still have their friendship arc, and I think Tess would also be there as well. Because I think Tess would get all on with everyone. And I think Jake, Ashley and Tess wouldn't like this though, because Connor is a cool guy and Connor can easily convince them. And while they would want to get rid of Alec, I do think they would get rid of Yule, because getting rid of a villain would make things a lot easier for the game. So I think they get rid of Yule. Episode 8. Episode 8. This is... give me space. So, Jake felt... I'm just going to pick someone else for this scene. And I think it would be... Tom. Now, I think this is where Jake and Tom do finally make up at this point and hash things out and finally forgive each other. Jake doesn't obviously have that resentment anymore. He's a changed person. I think James would believe that. And I think Tom would win the challenge, because I think Jake would just let him win like that. And I think they get together in this episode. So I think the Cyan team win, the Magenta team lose. So they have to vote for Gabby. Tess doesn't want to vote for Gabby because she's friends with Gabby. Because in the original, she only voted for Gabby. She didn't want to vote for Gabby. So I think what would happen is Connor doesn't want to vote for Alec. But these three would vote for Alec. And Gabby, Alec, and Connor, though, decide to counter. So they vote for Jake, but they realised Connor's not going to vote for Jake, so I think they would vote. Actually, okay, so Alec, Gabby. So these three decided to vote for Gabby, and I think they would vote for Gabby here. And because next time they go to elimination, they realise that if they agree with Connor the next time in elimination, they can just get rid of Alec anyways. Like, he's on his own. Like, there's only two of them. But Connor tells Alec they need to beat someone easy in a tiebreaker. So Alec decides to go for Tess. And a tiebreaker between Gabby and Tess. I'm going to say it's the cage tiebreaker. And I think Tess would lose that tiebreaker between Gabby. Episode 9. This is usually the Tess gets out with the walk skiing challenge. So I think Tom would be that good in James, but I think Fury would make her team lose. I love Fury as a character, but I think, to be real, I'm going to say Fury lets her team lose. And the villains, I think James, Tom, and Ellie vote for Fury, and Ellie, Grant. It doesn't really matter which one of these three because Fury is going to get eliminated. Not Grant. Fury is eliminated. It's a merge. Pretty interesting merge. So our merge is very different. Cyan. Alright, so Alec, Gabby, Connor, Ashley, Jake, James, Ellie, and Gret. So in episode 10, the flag challenge, Connor usually wins immunity. I think that's fine. And the villains alliance, I think they would sit together at this point. So they have a tiebreaker situation. Now Jake and James can't cause an argument because James and Tom wouldn't have the same connection as Aiden. Even though they'd be close, it wouldn't be anything. They wouldn't be able to trick each other. So I think these five would actually vote for someone who would be easy to beat in a tiebreaker. But Allie doesn't have the same resentment for Jake as she does in the original. So I think what would happen is these five decide to vote for Gabby, but vote for Connor because he's a wild card and he can be these to convince their eyes. And these five decide to vote for James. They'd ask Connor who do you want to face in the tiebreaker, and he'd choose Jake. I think Connor would lose the tiebreaker, so I think Connor's eliminated. Episode 11, Connor comes back. I know he just got eliminated, but I think that's what would happen pretty unfairly. He just got eliminated. Connor returns. So episode 10, 12, the Superhero Challenge. Jake and James win immunity. I think James just replaces Aiden. And once again, the villains are in a bit of trouble. The heroes. They decide to vote for Ashley. And these five decide to vote for Gabby. These five vote for Tom. These five vote for Gabby, and we've already seen that tiebreaker. So they vote for Connor. I think Connor does get eliminated again. He just returns and then he gets eliminated, so it really sucks. But I think they would still vote for Connor just because of the fact he is a wild card and would definitely join the villains. Episode 13. This is the try with the flag challenge. So I think actually no, Connor has immunity. Connor and Alex. So who usually wins the challenge? I'm gonna say the winner would be Tom. So those three have immunity. Actually no, Ashley. Ashley has immunity. He should have immunity. So Tom. And then they vote for Gret. They vote for Gabby, and the other five So they vote for Ash. So for Tom, and we've already seen that tiebreaker. I think Tom's still going home. Episode 13. Superheroes Challenge. I think Jake and Ashley would win immunity. And I think the villains would try to vote for James. The heroes, they vote for Alec. Connor, he wasn't betrayed by Alec in this version, so he wouldn't vote for him. So I think he would vote for James. Episode 14, the TikToks. Allie Connor, Gabby Gretz, Allie Jake, Ellie and Ashley. Actually, no, Allie, Ashley, Jake, Gret, Allie. Connor, Jake, Gret, Gabby, Ellie, Alec, Allie, Ashley. So I think Ashley and Allie win. Jake and Ellie are similar people. Gret and Gabby, and I think Alec and Connor would lose. Jake and Ellie. Alright, so they're the pairs. So Ellie gets the what? Actually, no, so they're a pair. So this would leave Ashley and Ellie. So I think Alec and Connor are between Ashley and Ellie. They're only able to win because of Aiden. So I think Ashley and Ellie, I feel like, would be quite good here. Because Gret would help Ellie and Ashley. So I think between Alec and Connor, I think Connor would have worse TikToks. Episode 15. So way off your shoulders. So the villains have majority and they're arguing. So Ashley would win this challenge because Ashley would actually kill this challenge. She's really good at it. I think she would win it now because she would do the best. Jake did the best outside of anyone. I think Ashley would do better than him. So I think Ashley would win immunity. And I think Ellie, Gabby and Gret would stick with Alec a bit longer because Jake and Ellie and Ashley are a trio. I think the four would actually vote for Jake. So I think Jake gets eliminated. Episode 16 is the Jigsaw. I think she gives Ashley finds immunity in Allie. And I think Allie could get to the top. I now think the winner of the challenge would be Allie because Jake wouldn't be stopping her and she's really good at puzzle games. So I think she wins immunity. Everyone would vote for Ashley, but Ashley uses her totem on herself, so her vote's the only one that counts. So I think out of this group of people, the person she would choose to eliminate at this point would more than likely be Ellie. And you're probably thinking Alec, right? Well, the reason Ellie would get eliminated is there's a three-person alliance. Would you get rid of Ellie? I think she would get rid of Alec here, because he came forth and competed further in more seasons. I think she would get rid of Ellie. Gret and Gabby are friends. They're a trio, they're a three-person alliance. Ellie's got further. Ellie's better at challenges. She's competed in more seasons and she's gotten further than Gabby, so I think she would verify Ellie is the bigger threat. Episode 17. Riding your horse. I think the winner of the challenge would more than likely be Ashley. So Ashley wins immunity, as I think she would do the best here. So Ellie and Ashley would vote for Alec, and I think Gret and Gabby also vote for Alec. So I think my boy Alec gets eliminated. Actually, they would see Ellie and Ashley as a bigger threat. So I think Gret would convince Gabby and to stick with Alec for one more time, and they would get rid of Ellie. Episode 18, State of Shock. This is the puzzles challenge. I actually think Alec would win this challenge because I think Alec absolutely kills this challenge because I think he would be amazing at it. So I think he would win the challenge. And I think Alec wins. So Gret and Gabby vote for Ashley. Now, Alec goes to Ashley and says, I'll help you in a tiebreaker because we're going to lose a tiebreaker. So he says, which one do you want to go against? So he goes against Gret. So in a tiebreaker between Gret and Ashley, I think Gret's losing that tiebreaker. So episode 19, Gabby's helper is Ellie. Alex's helper will be Fiore. Ashley's will be Jig. So this is the diamonds challenge. Basically, they have to cut diamonds. They race them out. That's very close. I think Alec would win. Alec's definitely winning because he would sabotage. So I think between Gabby and Ashley, I think that Ashley would get out before Gabby. The third place, Gabby. So they both fight. It's very close. I think Ashley would actually win the season. I don't think Alec could beat her because she's very strong. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. This is the animation order and how I think this would have gone. If James and Miriam chose the teams, I actually really like this one. Let me know in the comments if there's any other suggestions, and I'll get through as fast as I can. And yeah, peace for all.